Independent councillors from eThekwini region are today meeting at the Durban Bat Center. The councillors say they represent their communities. They say they want to represent independents that will be contesting in various wards, giving understanding to the people as to how independents work and their role in the municipalities. They also say that their aim is to create a platform where independents can work together and organize themselves so they can caucus together in the council. And for that, we're now Tulani is standing by to tell us what is happening there. Tulani, a very good morning to you. What are the independents saying this morning?
Yes, good morning, Desiree. We are here at the Bat Center where independent councillors, they call themselves Councillor Umphakathi, where they've just concluded their press conference where they are explaining themselves what the role of the independent councillors is here in eThekwini. These are independent councillors from the eThekwini region. I understand that there are about 50 of them that will be contesting. But to explain to us what the role of the independent councillors is, Councillor Umphakathi, I have with me Mr. Ndlovu, who has just concluded the press briefing. He's going to explain to us what their role is and what their bit they're trying to do is. Thank you very much, Mr. Ndlovu. Can you just take us through? You've just concluded the press briefing. What is the role of independent councillors, Councillor Umphakathi?
Thank you very much for an opportunity. We do believe that we have been working with communities for quite a very, very long time, as some of us as activists, some of us as professionals. And then we felt there is a need, when our call of community meetings are taking place, that most of the communities will be given a voice. The unfortunate part was that when those proceedings supposed to be taking place, we discover that organization create policies, but on the ground, what is happening, individuals, they are the ones who are predominantly taking charge of that, and there is no following up in terms of how does that happen. You find a situation where if you are not a part of a particular faction within a certain organization, therefore the voice of that community cannot be heard, because certain individuals can decide amongst their cronies to choose a particular individual that is going to serve their own interests, which at most it makes our communities find themselves having difficulties, that most crucial services that are supposed to be taking place are not happening. As candidates, you will discover that most of the independent candidates, or community councillors as what we call, you do not go and subscribe to the IEC as an individual. There is a form that IEC issued for certain individuals to be recognized by a particular number of that community so that they can be a part of the list of the IEC. Therefore, even the word to call them independent does not subsequently fit in, because they are the choice of their people. They were supposed to be called community councillors, because that list which is submitted at IEC is the list of the signatures of their own people. As a reason for that, you will discover that there are a number of issues that are put in place. For example, to say how independent candidates are going to be able to function.
Mr. Ndlovu, I'm sorry to cut you in, but I'm just trying to find out what prompted you to stand as independents. You are competing in an environment where there are powerful organizations that are well known, that are well established. Why do you think that you will succeed, for example?
It is precisely because our communities have discovered that the tool document of our constitution, it needs to be put in place. It is no longer people cementing about discussing that there is a great constitution, but it cannot be put in practice. So these candidates have put the democracy in place, where we will see people practicing democracy rather than just mentioning it and is not taking place. For the last 27 years, a number of our communities have been deprived by certain individuals who connive within the organization and utilize the organization slogans and utilize the organization Nigeria to pretend to be the people that are having an interest of our communities, yet they are serving their own interest.
Yeah. And lastly, Mr. Ndlovu, you mentioned during your press briefing inside that one of the issues as independents, Councillor Umphakathi will be tackling is the issue of creating local jobs, focusing on local economies. Take us through that briefly.
Yes, we have discovered, since one has mentioned that overworking for the last 22 years, that most private sector have a difficulty now to respond to the political spheres, because they've discovered, for example, the issue of the looting that has taken place. A number of private sector have been working very closely with certain political parties, but when the unrest took place, there were nowhere to rescue them. But they've opened their checkbooks in a number of organizations in making sure that when they need certain things, they get it. Mostly, you need to be very careful that there are two spheres. You have the government sphere, where the municipality uses its own budget that comes from the government, from our VAT, which is a contribution factor of monies that we contribute as citizens to assist our communities. Then you have the private sector, who does not really want to be in line with political affiliations and political mandates. Those are the people who have been left desperately.
That's Mr. Ndlovu. They're taking us through what went through this morning when they were explaining what independent councillors will be doing. I promise that we will try and bring you that press briefing that we recorded earlier on when they were explaining about the role of the local councillors, independent councillors here in eThekwini. I take it back to you, Desiree, in Johannesburg.
That's our colleague there, Tulani Msimang. Let us now look at these quick facts on your screen relating to independent candidates. We were using it in our conversation on Friday with independents, but it still applies. Let's just look at that as it comes up. The participation of independent candidates in local government elections, the different local government elections. In 2,672 independents contested 16%. Only 16, which made 2%, won a seat. In 2006, 663, that was a number down, that the numbers had gone down, contested, and 34 of them, which made only 1%, won. And then in 2011, the number shot up again, 754 participating, 45 winning, making 1% of the overall participation number of independents. And in 2016, that watershed local government election in South Africa, 855 independents contesting, 27 of them getting seats, making up 1.14% of the tally. And for the 2021 local government elections, the Independent Electoral Commission has confirmed that more than 1,700 independents are contesting this election. It'll be interesting to see what their performance will be like come November 2nd.